Hey there, guys. So today we're going to try again. I'm talking with Tina Dickey about living our lives, following our passion, our dreams, without excuses. Sometimes we hold ourselves back without realizing, saying, oh, we don't have the time or the energy or whatever story we want to tell our. It's an excuse and it can hold us back. So today we're going to be talking about that since Tina herself is moving away from this, and I'm currently adding her on. Um, and it's a learning process and an evolution, and not always comfortable. But when we move away from scapegoating, essentially, um, then a world of potential is available. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Okay, so Tina, I'm going to give a brief bio, and then if there's anything you would like to add, then just add it, okay?
Okay.
Alrighty. So Tina studied international agricultural development at UC Davis, which set her on the path to healing and health through food and yoga. She is currently a visual and performing arts elementary school teacher and a 200-hour yoga teacher. Her passions in life include healing, transformation, and wellness through yoga and essential oils. She's also halfway through her training to become an 825 internationally accredited yoga therapist. Such an amazing program you're going through. And she plans to start her yoga therapy farm, which I'm so excited about, in the near future. Anything you'd like to add?
No, I think that's good.
That's good? Okay. So tell us, with all that you're doing, being a teacher, working with children, working out in the farm, like with the children, I always see your garden pictures. They're so lovely. Using essential oils, being a yoga therapist, a yoga teacher. What do you really feel like your area of expertise is, or what your niche is? What do you really bring? How do you bring it all together?
It's so funny because people always ask me, like, how did I come to be a teacher with, like, studying agriculture and then I'm a yoga teacher on the side. And for me, it just all makes sense and it all goes together. Like, one thing led to the other, and it's brought me to this space where I feel like I really need to be in and that I'm growing from. In terms of expertise, honestly, I think it's just like believing in myself and believing that if you do what you love, like everything will fall into place, and like you just need to follow your passions and not be fearful, and don't use like fear even as an excuse, and just go for it. So if I'm an expertise at anything, it's just following my dreams and not making excuses as to why I can't do it.
Right. Good. I mean, you're living proof because you are doing just that. So that's very inspiring. Um, what does wellness mean to you personally?
For me, it's spiritual, it's mental, it's physical. I think it's a lot about living your dharma. And when you're aligned with who you are and who your true being is, like that's what wellness is. It's like treating your body with respect because you care about yourself and like you're valuable. And it's about like when you're aligned with yourself and you're aligned in your beliefs and you're living your dharma, or you're living where you need to be at in this moment, like you're emotionally, you might experience like really hard challenges, but you're going to be overall emotionally healthy, you're going to be spiritually healthy. And also like yeah, I mentioned the physical, like that just comes from treating yourself with respect. So for me, wellness is physical, it's mental, emotional, spiritual, and just being in
Yeah.
aligned with yourself.
Right. And then what I'm learning too is setting boundaries and not giving
Yeah.
excuses as to why you can't set the boundaries. So, which in a way of doing that, honoring those boundaries is allowing the space for wellness and also respecting
Yes.
yourself at the same time. Hi, Heather. Hi, Katie. You guys are awesome. If you agree with below, then just comment. What does wellness mean to you? Share your thoughts. We'd love to hear. What's the biggest impact tip you give to your students or clients, or both?
Oh, biggest tip.
Yeah, right.
Honestly, I think it goes back to just like doing and believing in what you're being told intuitively. Like, I think we all have answers, and a lot of times we're in the search for something, but like it's all within us, and like it's that intuition, and like you know what's right for you. Your body's gonna tell you, because your body's
Mhm.
gonna go out of alignment if you're not listening. Like
Right.
it's all there. And so I always just tell people, like, listen to what you want to do. What do you love? Like, you have the answers to it. And like I think, again, like, no excuses. Like it's all
Mhm.
there. We all have it. We're part of that like beautiful spirit, and there's nobody who's gonna tell us otherwise what's best for us. So we are our greatest teachers, I guess, is what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, that's so true and so hard at the same time. But how do you tell your kids that, your students that? Do they seem to get it, or do you know how do you teach that to the younger generation?
I actually have a set list of like classroom agreements. So the first one is be safe, because we do a lot of
Mm-hmm.
movement. And another one is focus and listen. And that's
Mm-hmm.
not just on like what I'm saying as a teacher, but listening to each other and being like compassionate and respecting each other's voice. The other one is use your imagination, because nobody's going to give you answers. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's not a right answer in life. So a lot of times kids will ask me like, do you like my art piece? And I, instead of answering, I tell them, well, do you like your art piece? Were you
Mm-hmm.
creative? Were you using your imagination? And usually they'll respond with yes, they're proud of their art.
Oh, good.
And then the other one is have fun. And I tell them we can't get to the fifth one, which is have fun, unless we were safe, we were focusing and listening, using our imagination. And at this moment, I'm forgetting the other one.
Okay, but
But
that sounds
I
like a
keep it
pretty good
simple. Yeah,
list.
I keep it simple with kids. Like we have
Mm-hmm.
classroom agreements, not classroom rules. And like the bottom
Mm-hmm.
line is like we respect each other. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's great. I think it's really important for the younger generation to hear, because sometimes in school it's very rigid and it's yes or no, right or wrong, and so
Mm-hmm.
sometimes kids lose that intuitive sense, and they're relying on the external support or
Mm-hmm.
external guidance to always tell them what to do. But in reality, a lot of them will become business owners, entrepreneurs, or even if
Yeah.
they're employees, they still need to learn how to trust and find their own path, right?
Yes.
Um, yeah, and Heather and Katie also included their tips to wellness. We'll cycle back around at the end and check those out. So if you agree below, or if you have any suggestions on how you teach the younger generation to include all this wellness into their lives, then leave the comments below. Um, how do you work wellness into your business model, like being a teacher and a yoga therapist and essential oils educator?
Sometimes it's really hard, but you mentioned at the beginning about setting boundaries, and that's something that I really had to learn as a teacher, since teaching little kids in elementary school is like what takes up most of my day. I've really had to learn how to respect my own boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
my own like what works for me in terms of wellness. And a lot of it has been like taking breaks,
Mm-hmm.
knowing like even though I'm usually type A perfectionist, knowing that not everything's gonna be perfect.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
even though I want like to be able to accomplish everything as a teacher, sometimes that poster or that word wall is just not going to get done at that moment, but it's going to be
mm.
okay.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's slowing down, it's taking time in silence. Like a lot of times teachers want to socialize during their lunch hour. I tend to be a lot more quiet, or
Mm,
just like, and that itself can be a challenge, because people might
mhm,
think that you're doing it because you don't like them or because you don't respect them, but it's really for me because I'm talking all day. I have to respect
mhm,
my own boundaries. So a lot of it is slowing down and creating boundaries around what's healthy for me. And I
mhm,
think when you do that, people will eventually understand. They will start to ask you questions. At the beginning, I was very quiet about the fact that I was an essential oils educator and that I was a yoga teacher outside of like my regular work. And I've
uh-huh,
just become very vocal and own that
mm,
part of me. And I think people start to recognize me more as like, oh, you teach yoga. Oh, when do you teach your yoga classes? And it just flows naturally when you just do what you're just being who you are and creating
mhm.
boundaries so that you can continue being the person you want to be.
Yeah, and I mean, that's so courageous of you to take the time to replenish yourself at lunchtime, even though people might not get the reaction or the interaction that they would expect or hope for. But then they see how you are afterwards, the energy you're able to put out to the children, and even conversations with them. They're like, oh, okay, what she's doing is good for her. So it's living by example, which is amazing. Yeah. So, you work for the school, but you're also a business owner. You have your own practice of clients and customers growing. What's the biggest challenge you've had to overcome with maybe even integrating them or owning your own business?
I would say biggest challenge is being fearless and like owning that that is my practice. I think a lot of times that we're afraid to tell other people that we're a business owner because we think that people are going to judge us, or we think that people might think that we're just going to try and then use them to be part of our business.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, it's like pushing out of that comfort zone, and again going back to like, this is me, I own this, like I'm excited. This is what like enlivens me at the end of the day when I feel depleted. Like my business gives me that energy to continue. And so that for me has definitely been the hardest, is just like being more just visual about it and more vocal about it, and being like, this is who I am, this is like the life that I live, and that's okay.
Yeah, so then essentially you're attracting the people that want it, and it's
Yeah.
not, not everyone is the perfect fit for each person. Like we attract the people that are the right fit, and those that aren't, that's okay. There'll be someone else for them. So just living your truth in a way to
Yeah.
attract your tribe, as they say. I love it.
Yes.
So how do you bring some of these practices into your own life? How do you incorporate this wellness into your own life on the day to day?
Oh my gosh. I like
Right.
live it and breathe it.
Right.
Well, going to like the yoga side, like a lot of, yoga is not a practice of the mat. Yoga is a practice of like mind, body, and spirit, and like it's every moment in your day. So even though I'm not perfect, and I'm not like this like enlightened ultimate
You are
yogi,
enlightened.
I still indulge. I still like, have moments of frustration, and and that's what yoga is. It's awareness and knowing where you're at in the moment. So for me, it's like, I mean, just like waking up in the morning, taking time for myself. Before, I used to just rush out of bed and want to go to the next thing. I don't do that anymore. I wake up, I apply my oils, I do my meditation, my asana, like even the way I brush my teeth is differently. Like the way that I choose to eat my breakfast is different. And that goes throughout the day. Like even just breathing, like teaching is really hard and it's depleting. And like knowing that I need to stop and take a break, even though that's not my natural tendency. And so just being constantly aware of where I'm at, and like from there making adjustments to my day or to what my body needs at the moment, and throughout that just using my essential oils, constantly applying them in different ways to help support my wellness. So yeah, it's not one specific thing. It's how you do it throughout your day, how it becomes a part of this bigger picture in your life.
Right, it's multifaceted. I have a couple questions from those. So you said like even the brushing the teeth, it was different. How was it different before than what you're doing now? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah. So I mean, with yoga you can choose to do like the sister medicine to yoga, which is Ayurveda. They go hand in hand. So I just started this past maybe 10 months now in my life, like really using Ayurveda as my guiding tool to change and transform the way that I shape my day. So it's like scraping my tongue, and then even the pattern in which I do it, scrape my tongue, brush my teeth, and like how that follows the rest of the day. Like
okay, so even just physically
physically changing how I do it, but also just like what I put in my body, like the products that I choose to use. Like I choose to use plant-based, toxic-free, like products from Young Living.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not, even with my brushing my teeth and any other part of my daily routine, I'm not just grabbing any product. I'm considering what I'm putting on my body, because that's a yogic and Ayurvedic practice too.
Right. Yeah. Being mindful, even in those
Yeah.
what we could consider minute decisions. And can you give us one example of maybe how you use an oil to support the wellness? Just one. Your favorite.
One. That's hard.
Mm-hmm.
um,
I
I'll start
know.
with like the first part of my day, which is like affirming where I'm at the moment, and then affirming what I want to, where I want to be, or what I want to foster in my life. So in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
doing like a chakra routine with affirmations and a different oil for
Mm-hmm.
each chakra, and like really affirming in the present tense that I am the things that I want to be,
Mm-hmm.
that it's all a part of who I am. It's not
Yeah.
something in the future, it's in the now.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. Living where we want to go. There's a podcaster, Brooke Castillo. She says she talks about that a lot, and I can't put it to words as effortlessly or elegantly as she does. But yeah, it's essentially saying what you're saying, and it really does make a difference because it's not in the future based. It's happening right now, and our body responds to that. Awesome. Well, any parting words of wisdom for everyone?
I would just say, like, listen to yourself. Like, don't listen to the part of you that tells you that you're not enough, or that there's an excuse as to why you can't be where you want to be. Because most of the time, those excuses are the exact same reason why you should do what you want to do. So the
Mm,
excuses not to do them are actually why you should do them. So, like,
yeah.
listen to your intuition, like, believe your highest potential, and like
Mm.
listen to that voice that tells you you are what you want to be.
Yeah, I love it. Well, when we sign off, can you leave your Instagram profile and any other contact information so people can follow your inspiring pictures and reach out and contact you if they have any questions? Okay, well, it was lovely having you on. I'm glad this worked out this afternoon.
Yes.
And
Learning technology.
yeah, it's an evolution. And for those of you that are listening, if you would like to deepen this conversation with like-minded thinkers, this video will be posted in the Ignite community, and we can carry on the conversation there as well. So I hope everyone has a great evening and rest of your afternoon. And thank you so much, Tina. And I'll talk to you soon.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah, bye.